Yo, what is happening, people? What is happening? This is Linda here, and I have been nominated by Grant Stuart to do 25 push-ups to create awareness for PTSD and depression. But there's a bit of a spin on it, because here at Church Without Walls, we don't just want to create awareness for the problem, but we also want to provide you guys with a solution. And the solution is none other than Jesus Christ himself. So there's a dude called Carl Rogers, and Carl Rogers is one of the guys that developed personality theory. And in this personality theory, he basically structures personality into three different phases. The first, or not the first phase, one of the phases is self-concept. Self-concept has to do with the picture that individuals have of themselves. It's the image that they have of themselves and the values that they attach to that image. So when we look at depression, for example, depression is the negative thoughts or the negative image or the negative picture that individuals tend to have of themselves. And to be honest, even as a Christian or a believer of Christ, I am not exempt from having those self-defeating thoughts. In fact, every day from the moment I wake up, I have a conscience that eats away at me. This conscience taunts me, it mocks me, it condemns me, it reminds me of my brokenness. My conscience is the reason why I tend to be so self-conscious at times. So in saying this, I am not in any way special or better than anybody who has depression, nor am I able to conjure up a solution on my own to relieve my distress. Einstein says it like this. He says, you cannot solve a problem from the same consciousness that created it. And because my conscience is broken, I cannot depend on myself or put any confidence in my ability to try to put myself in a state of peace. So, with that being said, what is the solution? Well, the Bible clearly teaches us that we need to sprinkle our conscience with the blood of Christ. So we basically have to silence the loud voices from our conscience by sprinkling the blood of Christ that speaks of better things. So what is the significance of the blood of Christ? Well, Ephesians 1 says that through the blood we have redemption. Another word for redemption is deliverance. We are delivered because of the blood of Christ. Not only are we saved from sin, but we're also saved from ourselves on a daily basis because of the blood of Christ. Another significant aspect to the blood of Christ is mentioned in Ephesians 2. And Ephesians 2 says that we are brought near by the blood of Christ. That nearness speaks of closeness, it speaks of intimacy, it speaks of relationships. So because of the blood of Christ, we are one with him. Is in our hearts, Christ in us, the hope of glory. And we can now possess the mind of Christ that is righteous, that is holy, where PTSD and depression does not exist. And because we are one with him, as he is, so are we in this world. But now the question remains, how do we practically go from our broken state to embracing the wholeness that is found in who God created us to be? And the answer to that is pretty simple. And I'm going to use this analogy. It's like, for example, a toddler who observes their parents. They observe their parents' behavior. They observe their parents' mannerisms, the way they do things, how they speak, the way they conduct themselves, the way they carry themselves. And when the child grows up, they end up imitating their parents. And likewise, we can actually observe Christ. And the more we focus on Christ, the more we observe Christ, what happens is we become transformed into the same image from glory to glory. So we look at Christ and we become transformed into the same image that is reflected back to us. We have to be renewed in the spirit of our mind. And we do this by simply setting our thoughts on God's perfect love for us. It's for this reason that the Apostle John always introduces himself as the one whom Jesus loves. So what he was basically doing is he was setting his thoughts on God's perfect love for him. So this is, when you think about it, this is actually a putting off and a putting on exercise that we need to do on a daily. We have to put off our negative, depressive and fearful thoughts, and we have to put on Christ by beholding him and by setting our thoughts on him, and only then will we experience the peace that surpasses all understanding. But another question, why do we have to focus on Christ? Can't we look at other things? Maybe we can be helped by those things. But here's the thing, the reason why we have to focus on Christ is because who Christ is who we are. We were created to reflect him. If we don't focus on Christ, there will always be incongruence because we're not aligning ourselves with who we actually are. So, if you guys have any questions, you are more than welcome to hit me up. You can DM me, you can comment, you can do whatever. With that being said, I'm going to have to do these push-ups, which is pretty hectic because I haven't done this in a while. But let's see how it goes. And my brother also said that he's going to participate in this. So after I do the push-ups, he's going to come in and he's going to do his push-ups as well. So let's do this. Whew. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Whew. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.